So like, have you guys ever wondered what John Wick looks like under all that CGI? Well, ever since I found these behind-the-scenes videos of how they make the John Wick movies, I've been obsessed. And it's not just because I'm a big Keanu Reeves fan. I'm a huge Keanu Reeves fan.
You're breathtaking!
I know that if you're watching this, you're a big Keanu fan too, which is why you'll be happy to know that he actually did all his own stunts for the John Wick movies. No CGI there at all.
He can do everything. He's just as good as any stunt guy out there.
Even at age 50, Keanu Reeves is a professionally trained martial artist, but he didn't get those mad skills from taking a spin class.
And being over 50, the physical limitations that one gets at that age has to be overcome with even more hours of physical fitness training.
For 5 months before filming, he literally trained 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. That's like working out as a full-time job.
When we train him, we'll go for hours and hours and hours, and he just won't stop.
During those 5 months, Keanu focused on fighting, martial arts, and all sorts of totally awesome moves.
You don't get to show up and do what he does without having a stellar work ethic.
And obviously, he's also a certified stunt driver.
He's a phenomenal driver and stunt driver, and that allowed us to be able to put him in a lot more of the shots.
It took them like 3 months to choreograph this taxi warehouse scene with Keanu at the wheel the whole time. If Tokyo drifting through the streets of Manhattan wasn't cool enough, the stunt team also elevated this ramp to give the Mustang some serious air when it launched onto the street. Although, I'm not sure I'd feel totally safe if he was my Uber driver. No offense, Keanu. Okay, confession time. Keanu Reeves doesn't do all his own stunts.
Well, yeah, I could get hit by a car, but, you know, hospital.
When a scene demands just a bit more action than Keanu can give, he calls in the pros for some backup.
John Wick will get hit by a car, and that's Jackson Spidell.
You guys, just a side note, Jackson Spidell is like the king of stunts. Besides John Wick, he's been in a ton of Marvel movies. Honestly, I think he's too cute to be a stunt actor, but that's just me. Sorry, moving on. But speaking of cute.
Is that the dog? He likes you.
No CGI here. The John Wick dogs are totally real.
As far as dog movies that I've worked on, this is one of the most ambitious, without a doubt.
Apparently there's this corporation called Animal Actors International that's like this database of animals who act. I wonder if Danny DeVito is represented by them. Kidding! We love you, Danny. But that's where the John Wick people found all their canine actors who honestly all deserve Oscars. They're so talented. A very special beagle named Andy played the part of Daisy, who unfortunately had a limited amount of screen time. I'll tell you what happened to Andy after they finished filming John Wick in a sec, but first, I gotta touch on the CGI. So we all know CGI can be used for a ton of different things, even stuff you wouldn't expect, like lighting, de-aging, technology, sorry, shiny Robert De Niro, fog, even kissing.
We set such higher standards on the first 2 movies that you always have to kind of one-up it.
But apparently this technology is a lot more complicated than I thought.
We got to put things on the edge of what's real and still make it cinematic.
Okay, I know most of the CGI in the John Wick movies are super legit, but there was one thing they faked that I just couldn't get over. This, right here, was CGI. And it cost the filmmakers $5,000. Seriously, guys, couldn't you just get chocolate or something? Well, they did spend the rest of that $25 million budget pretty well, though.
This suit sucks.
Did you know green screens are green because green is the furthest color away from many different skin tones? So when CGI is added in post, the character's skin won't get canceled out in the final cut. So does that mean I should wear as much green as possible if I'm camera shy? Well, what if I want to be totally invisible? I should probably wear one of these full-body green screen outfits the VFX team used to film this motorcycle scene.
Yeah, we just wanted to put some dudes in green suits, really. It was pretty great. I just wanted to embarrass the stunt team.
This motorcycle scene was actually inspired by a similar fight scene from the 2017 South Korean film The Villainess, which Keanu and John Wick director Chad Stahelski had both seen and loved.
We started trying to figure it out, and we're like, oh, this is what they did. This is really interesting. It was like a puzzle we tried to piece together.
Well, I'll tell you why this was the most difficult scene to film. But first, I gotta give you that update on Andy the Beagle. Well, shortly after Andy retired from show business, he was adopted into a loving family who renamed him Wick. That's so cute!
Daisy. horse.
Dogs weren't the only live animal on the set of John Wick. Do you guys remember when Keanu rides a literal horse throughout the streets of the city? Not only did Keanu have to learn stunt driving for these films, he also had to learn stunt horse riding.
Chad was like, time to train on a horse.
For real, it's all legit.
It's John Wick. It's like,
Yes.
it's just, instead of just riding a horse, you have to have a gunfight.
Well, apparently it took Keanu hundreds of hours to learn how to ride, but that just goes to show how talented and devoted he really is.
Riding a horse was too easy for Keanu Reeves, so we had him do trick riding.
Ain't that one good-looking cowboy?
This has been something we've been working on for a couple months to try and get this thing right.
So the motorcycle fight scenes were definitely the most difficult scenes to shoot.
We have a CGI sequence. It's been challenging because it's so outside of what we normally do.
The filmmakers used a combination of studio green screen stunts
The stunt team worked out the choreography first, and then everything else will come after that.
and live action shots on location in New York for some high-speed action. I'm serious, they had stunt bikers going over 100 kilometers an hour for these shots. Then they CGI'd Keanu's face onto one of the stunt drivers for the final cut.
Everything we did had to have a visceral reaction to the audience.
Okay guys, now this is some real movie magic. For this motorcycle scene in particular, the VFX team had to add CGI to shots that were 1,000 frames long. That's 1,000 different images that had to be altered individually and seamlessly edited together to create a continuous image. And here I thought editing Instagram reels was like serious editing.
There's more of a partnership with stunts and visual effects than people know.
Turns out there's no ChatGPT for movie making.
Hey computer, make me an epic fight sequence.
So how do they make it safe for the actors to pull off these sweet moves? You remember that famous fight scene that seemed to take place in that knife museum? Well, all that glass? Special effects. Well, some of it was real also. Special custom-made glass to show up better on screen and only explode on cue. It was visually edited in post by the VFX department to give it that shiny cinematic look. So many of the physical props in John Wick were real, which probably made it easier for the audience to get lost in the magic of John Wick. Well, I can't help but be totally impressed with these actors. Like, how hard would it be to keep a straight face while you're doing this kind of scene?
I think if there's any other action actor or actor, there wouldn't be a John Wick. I think he's the only one that could play him.
Alright, I literally didn't think it was possible for me to love Keanu Reeves any more than I already did. Sometimes life has a funny way of surprising you, I guess. But what about you guys? Are you impressed with his sick moves?